Hi, my friends and family. My name is Trey, and today I'm going to talk about how there is no healthy passive income or outcome. It's often just a fraud, or else you're going to have to do a lot of maintenance work along the way. I love you more than you'll ever know. I love you so much more than you'll ever know. You gotta serve somebody. Serve somebody. You gotta serve somebody. Now, it might be the devil, or it may be the Lord, but you're gonna have to serve somebody. Serve the higher D and serve her good. There is no healthy passive income or outcome. The inverted ideas of the slave masters appeal greatly to tired box slaves. I said too much once again. You got a body, then you came with a blueprint. And as I said, if you're courageous and lucky and smart enough, perhaps you'll have the discernment to, if you haven't already, to regain and learn what your blueprint is or your job that you chose to do in this lifetime and begin to do it. Okay? So, a friend of mine who was a impoverished can collecting shaman that called himself Cousin Ron told me one time, money is a spell. There is no healthy passive income or outcome because, everyone has to pay the piper. Everyone has to pay one way or the other for the experience, the amazing gift of life. Um, Healthy financial vampirism is an illusion, of course. The idea for this title comes from someone close to me's statement after 20 years as a food server. I want passive income. And I was subconsciously worried that they were inspired in the dark and the shadow side by my weakest moment. So the first thing that happened after that is after studying on YouTube and Facebook for a year or two, they became a small appliances repairman. In other words, healthy hard work, but in a more sovereign way than being a server. And then we had the lockdowns, tragically. And then around the same time, they had become a landlord, and also they began mining Bitcoin. So this being my sibling of three children, he gets to spend 6 days a month with. Of course, unlike myself, he would never have accepted basic income from the government, and he's working really hard. But yet, he did achieve this idea of passive income in the form of mining Bitcoin. But when the power got shut off, he immediately got it shut back on. So the idea for this also comes from the experiential knowledge that with every so-called easy job or so-called passive income, there's maintenance work. There is you're going to have to serve your person you think you're siphoning from because or taken from because they're it's not going to work if you don't. So there really is no such thing. Once this man whose house burned down in the last chance fire, CZU fires of 2020, his grown son was standing next to me, and I don't know if his dad could hear it or not. His dad's about my age, and he says his grown son says, "Well, it's, to this young woman, I couldn't believe it was so tragic, tragic statement of the modern era. It's all about gaming the system." Well, ever since the rise of socialism in the USA under the watch of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, when he was president, for 12 years, he introduced the food stamps and the welfare check system, retirement as well as disability checks. And then, of course, even for everyone who wasn't wealthy in USA in 2020, we had these stimulus checks. I think 3 different times they gave us money. In the Saturn Moon Matrix corporate takeover of planet Earth, people are rewarded the more anti-human and narcissistically, psychopathically they behave. They're promoted. We have entire industries like Hollywood that we've discovered with the Me Too movement that probably majority of the time it took, or a lot of the time, or all the time with certain directors, it took fellatio to get an acting job. So, you know what? And Jesus Christ, or Yeshua, they said in this one scripture, threw the money changers out of the temple, right? Dave Chappelle literally turned the table that had a briefcase full of millions of dollars on it. He turned the table over because he was not willing to wear a tutu like all the other comedians in Hollywood had to. And I have given this service as a balancing act. Okay, so the only after 2023 in the New World Order, the only passive income is going to be for the government and government employees. That's the way it looks. So yeah, Dave Chappelle was not gonna. He wasn't willing to wear the tutu, so he turned the table. You know what? Because it's G go, see so. Okay, everything is G go, see so, right? So the law of compensation, what you put in is what you get out of it. Okay, so if you're given, if you're from a wealthy family or you have an easy job sitting on your ass at the gas station or whatever you so-called, I always thought I would like to work as a clerk or security guard or have an easy job where I didn't have to do anything. Little did I know that how tragic that often is and how much of an anti-life it becomes because that person's being passive. The law of compensation is energetic karmic balance, and you're compensated for everything you put out. It comes back. All that is taken from the sweat and suffering of others must be given back. So if I've been coerced to be an economic vampire in one way or the other, it's all going back. All that is given will be received by that person's soul. Everything you give, everything you serve to others without getting money or accolades, fame, or sex, or fortune, or anything from it, you receive back. Okay, it's obvious. Giving in that way can be addictive, but it can cause a power differential where you feel more because you must have abundance to share, So it's the born again Christian reaching down. Let me help you up, but I've got to be greedy to have more to help you. It's the sick side of socialism. Give to share. Balance. The balance of effort, even Steven. Well, very few people or spirits and human bodies on planet Earth, it seems to me, have ever even achieved a balance of effort in one way or the other, following the deceiver or the righteous martyrs who would give too much. So it's up to each and every individual to balance their works, what they receive and what they give, and not be ripped off and not be a slave and not be a vampire. It's up to each and every individual to be an energetic balance, because no one else is going to help you do that. They're just learning it themselves, most of them. But so my years in financial dependence, a lot of that time I spent in research on how am I going to heal, how am I going to heal my physical and spiritual, mental, soul, body, and how is the planet going to heal. The easy way can cause great suffering, mental slavery, or getting boxed in the mental cage, and forced reincarnation through guilt. When you die, guess what? Yahweh's waiting there, throwing you into a heavy guilt trip for that easy life. So this man grew up in Boulder Creek, calls himself Noah, and one day he was talking about how CEOs are lazy and how he'll call them bums. I thought that comment was related to this video. You know, of course, Dickens' Scrooge character was a beautiful idea that's, of course, since the age of monopoly and the Sherman's Antitrust Act was ignored, seldom realized. The greedy, wealthy, capitalist miser can become a loving, giving human. Like good landlords, capitalist bosses, they both have to do the maintenance work, man. They can't just do nothing. They have to do a lot of maintenance work sometimes. The final judgment is really just the Creator holding up a mirror. All debts and surplus will be paid to souls, while Yahweh will try to guilt trip you back to a slave family. Landlords, security guards, ganja dealers have to take people's monies. Okay? All services and economics involve energetic exchange. Goods are only the 3D version. All humans work. Junkies work at suicide. Alcoholics work at kill themselves. Slaves work at being slaves. Disabled people work at being a vampire. Think of the immense work of parenting and how you can never pay it back. This is what we owe to God, the Creator. Yet the false gods will use the idea of the present to force you into perpetual wage, box, mortgage slavery, to be a good, obedient person, publishing books, music, a lot of work. There's a lot of works you can do out there that will be paid over the years that you could say is, in a way, is passive income, yet you had to do a lot of work to create that. And it's a much healthier approach to this concept of having a flow of income, which I've got to work more on, not vampiric. You're doing actual work. You wrote the book, you recorded the record, or published the video, or whatever, and you put it out. Yet it sets up an income flow. So this idea of having an income flow, I'm not against that. I'm talking about the idea that you could have an income, a passive income, where you did nothing. You're passively receiving. Although I've been obedient and infantile financially, partially, because I could see the siphoning, stealing system was broken. Ironically, I was coerced into participating the wrong way. David James Rodriguez says that when the average person who works from age 20 to 65, 15 years of your life were paid to slavery. He counted up how many years you're paying. 15 years of your life go to taxes, in other words, the government slavery. SSI, or welfare, the wealthy people, corporate CEOs, there is also work. There's also no passive income for any of these groups of people. They all have work to do. All humans must work like the Creator. You must act in 3D for results. If you do nothing, there's no change. If you accept passive income of welfare, or you're a wealthy CEO or retired, your disease might grow, or at least your mental illness will grow. There will be no creative change. If I don't change, then I will not evolve. Okay? All spirits who are given the amazing gift of life in the body are required, if they want to evolve or go to the fifth dimension, to do work. To particularly those who are wealthy or abundant or disabled or elderly, retired, or CEOs that are retired, because it's time to give back. When you're receiving passively at all, it's time to, at least serve others a smile, a loving 5-minute conversation, because you're not a slave for that box any longer. Now you're the one with the reins. So, you know what? If you enjoyed this video, click on the subscribe and the notification bell for more. And I'll send you mostly notifications of my Odyssey videos after I make them, or teasers, as we call it. And, we all have to eventually come to the balance and realize how to learn that it's up to each one of us to learn the balance of work and play, receiving and giving, and create a great day, my family. And you know there is love within you that already understands what I'm saying. The great creator.